Welcome to week 5 of the I formation. I'm Jeff Gibbons.
I'm John Moist.
Wow, beat me again this week, man. I had a rough start. 2 more on me this week, 5 up for the year. That's okay, it's a long season. Looking to get them back. This week, actually, we're only different on 2 picks. Hopefully they both go my way. Stick around, we're going to tell you about how we did, or what we're going to do this week.
Hey, and welcome back to the I formation. Now we're going to make our picks for week number 5, beginning with the Thursday nighter, with the Minnesota Vikings heading into Green Bay to the frozen tundra to take on the Packers. Will it be frozen?
Anything's possible, man. Anything's possible. And this could have been a start for Teddy Bridgewater, but he didn't practice already so far this week, so he's still a question mark for
They're hoping that he will play, but there's no confirmation of that yet.
And of course, Green Bay is going to be without wide receiver Jared Boykin as well.
Is that right?
He's down. Well, he didn't practice either. It doesn't look good there.
Okay.
But I got to tell you, Packers righted the ship this week. Came up with a very, very impressive win over the Bears. And I think that they're just at home on the whole court against Minnesota. Packers big, maybe.
I think the Packers will win this game. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. They certainly looked great offensively, not so much defensively against the Bears. Gave up a lot of yardage there. But I think that their offense definitely got back on track. And yeah, I see more Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb again this week.
Bring it on, man. Yeah. Steady diet. Helping me in my fantasy pools. Next, we got Cleveland going into Tennessee to play the Titans. Interesting storyline here. We're going to disagree on this one. You're going, I think, with the Browns?
Yes.
I'm going with Tennessee. Both of these teams have struggled over the last few games. Tennessee has lost 3 in a row. Cleveland, prior to their bye this week, defensively have struggled. But I think that I think it's going to be the same Cleveland team that shows up with poor defense. And I think that Jake Locker's back this week, or potentially back this week for Tennessee. I think this is going to be a close game, maybe even a field goal, but I'm going to give Tennessee the edge at home.
Yeah, I think that this is going to be a close game as well. Could go either way. And certainly Ken Wisenhunt is going to have his troops ready there in Tennessee, trying to get a win there on home soil. Cleveland, though, I think Cleveland has played well. They played 3 very close games. They lost to Baltimore by 3 points, and they beat the Saints by 2, and I think it was a 2-point game. They lost to Pittsburgh as well. 3 very close games. Cleveland, I think, has been playing good football, and I see them going into Tennessee, taking advantage of a weak Tennessee secondary and getting a close win here.
Okay. Hopefully that's not number 6. Next, we got Chicago going into Carolina to play Panthers at home. Now, I thought you really were going to go Carolina here. I was kind of scared about that one, but you didn't. We both decided that Chicago come out on top. We see this week D'Angelo Williams gone from a walking boot to a cast, which spells real issues now for the running backs. Jonathan Stewart missed last Sunday's game against the Ravens with a knee injury.
He's still questionable.
They're hoping to get him back. Yeah. They've been held under 20 points in each of the last 2 games, and they haven't rushed for more. Here's a stat: they haven't rushed for more than 67 yards since week 1. So that's a huge piece, I think. I think Cutler is going to go into Carolina, deliver the goods, and I think the Bears win this by a touchdown.
Okay, and also there's another running back there in Carolina, Fozzie Whitaker. That they're Fozzie. Anyway.
His son, Chris
Fozzie Bear, anyway, he might play, he might not, I'm not sure. But the guy that's coming in there is an undrafted rookie named Darren Reeves. Played last week, I think, for 12 snaps, 26 yards, nothing great. I think he might come up in a big game here. You know, I think Chicago is, the run defense has given up over 120 yards a game this year. Not a great run defense, and I think this guy Reeves might try to make a name for himself, and I see him getting a touchdown anyway. I think he'll be the starter for Carolina this week. That being said, Carolina has a weak secondary, and I think that Jay Cutler is going to go in and have a bounce-back performance. I see Jay Cutler and Brandon Marshall both having big games.
Alshon Jeffrey, Martellus Bennett,
There
Matt
you go.
Forte. The list goes on.
There's not much of a list on the other side.
Yeah. Next, we got Houston going into Dallas. to play Dallas in the land of the night jumbotron. This is the Battle of Texas, but I think this is the other game that we're disagreeing on this week. Arian Foster, who I think was marginal last week, will be back to top form this week, and I think that's a huge piece for Houston. Also, defensively, both of these teams have played well over the last few games. But I think this is going to be a great game to watch this week. This is probably going to be, I think it's going to come down to Tony Romo snatching defeat from the jaws of victory in the very last few minutes of the game. I really think it's going to be Tony Romo's day to stink it up. And I think that he plays 55 good minutes of football, and that Houston defense forces a turnover lead and wins that game close.
Okay. I'm not worried about Tony Romo. DeMarco Murray is so far this year in the NFL the top running back. He has 534 yards so far this year and 5 touchdowns. He's a force. Dallas has been winning games by utilizing the ground game, eating up the clock, and they've been playing fairly well on defense. I think that this is a close game, but I'm gonna give the edge to Dallas in this one.
Lots of running on both sides of the ball here.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how that one goes. Next, we got Pittsburgh going into Jacksonville to play the Jaguars, and I just see Pittsburgh the way in their disarray now. I just see Pittsburgh as the best of the worst here in these two teams.
Oh, I'd have to agree. Pittsburgh is not the same team that they have been this entire season. Pittsburgh has sacked opposing quarterbacks only 7 times, and they've managed to create 3 turnovers. It's not the Pittsburgh defense that we're used to seeing. That being said, Jacksonville's the perfect tonic here.
Yeah, well, you know what? They have a way of biting your ass with these kinds of games too. Like they show up all of a sudden. You know, I think Pittsburgh 10-6. It's going to be something like that.
Sounds about right to
me. Yeah, the WGAF Bowl. All right. Next, we got Baltimore going into Lucas Oil to play the Indianapolis Colts, and this could be the game of the week.
It's going to be a great game, close game.
Defensively, Baltimore has really, really shone.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the kind of team that has to play Indianapolis at home to make this a close game. Look for the complete game from Andrew Luck. I think they're going to have to try to establish the run. I mean, Trent Richardson's still not getting going on the ground there. That's as well as he...
They don't need him.
No, they don't. They don't. But...
well, they always need a running game, don't get me wrong.
I'm a big proponent of establishing the run. I mean, I always was. But I think that this game will be decided, I say, by less than a field goal. It's that close.
Really?
I think it's going to go back and forth. I think both of these teams are capable. I think that Baltimore will have to score points off turnovers to stay in this game.
Yes.
I think that Andrew Luck is he's incredible in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Now he's one of those. He's really come to his own in playing late and coming back. He had a couple of real cowboy games early in his career. I think it's really less than a field goal. It could be like a 28-27 kind of deal.
I'm going to throw a couple more statistics at you because you know how I love my stats. And the Colts have put up 444 yards per game of offense so far this year. Andrew Luck has thrown 13 touchdowns. Luck is having a career year so far, early in the season. And I see this one being a close one too because Baltimore has a great team and a great defense as well. So, yeah, I agree. It's going to be a close one.
Okay. Next, we got Buffalo going into Detroit to play the Lions. Calvin Johnson back last week, but really ineffective. Didn't play well at all. But his ankle is getting better, according to everything I'm reading. And hopefully that's going to equate into Detroit at home. With the receiving core they have, and.
Well, what we normally see every year from the Detroit Lions is that their offense wins games, especially with Stafford and Johnson, and they always usually have a couple of good running backs on the ground game. Now this year it's been more about the Detroit defense that have really stepped up, led by DeAndre Levy, and they've allowed only 15 points per game, I believe, so far this year, and the defense has been playing great. And I think Calvin Johnson, like you say, and Matthew Stafford come around this week. Strong defensive performance, strong offensive performance. I like Detroit big.
Okay, next we got that interdivisional rivalry, or I'm sorry, interdivision rivalry. Tampa Bay going to the Dome to play New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
These games are always kind of cool. Tampa Bay with their first big win last week. That was a shocker to a lot of people.
It was.
Won with 5 seconds left with that that touchdown pass. I think that New Orleans has got to turn the corner here. I think this is a huge must-win for the New Orleans Saints. They're tough at home. They're in the Dome. If they're going to win a game this year, it's got to be this week. And this is, I looked at Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham and Robert Meacham to to have big games and to actually get that firebrand offense that we're used to seeing from the New Orleans Saints. Look for a big game, 400 plus yards from Drew Brees this week. That's my call.
I like it.
Next, we got Atlanta going to play the New York Giants.
I was back and forth on this one a bit, to tell you the truth, but I think with Eli Manning is actually, to quote Albert Jacobs, Eli Manning has been thrown to his own receivers for a change, and I think the Giants have a good ground game going as well. And Atlanta on defense has been very bad. They're giving up 28 points per game on average so far. And they're going up against a Giants team that just put 45 points on the board and are riding the high. So I see a lot of points in this game. What do you think?
That's exactly what I think. Atlanta stinks defensively.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not only did they put 45 points on the board last week, the Giants, they're also coming off 10 days rest.
Wow.
So what I want to say is here, the horror! I think this is a blowout. I'm going to say the Giants by 21 points.
Wow.
That's my call.
Gutsy call.
Yeah. There we go. Next we got St. Louis going into Philadelphia to play the Eagles. And St. Louis has just not got their defense going like they should be getting this year. Mm-hmm. They're coming off a bye. They're rested. But they've got a real fight on their hands because now defensively not playing as well as they have, and they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles offense, which is explosive to say the least. And we've seen some lulls, but I think Nick Foles quite capable against exploiting that kind of a defense. I think that LaShawn McCoy, he always works himself into the conversation. Maybe this is one of those big all-purpose yards weeks for McCoy, maybe a couple of 100 yards if he gets it going right.
That's right. St. Louis has some growing to do and some things to fix on both their offense and defensive side of the ball. Their defense is still pretty good, but like Jeff said, they haven't played up to their normal expectations this year. And I think that, Philadelphia, Nick Foles, bounce back game. Philadelphia wins by 10 points.
He's some quarterback.
He is a
I
great quarterback.
really like Nick Foles. Yeah. Okay, next we've got Arizona going in to play Denver Mile High. Denver is at home. They're determined. They're Denver. And I think this is going to be a great game because Arizona has played incredibly well out of the gate.
Good defense.
Yeah, undefeated, right? So, looking at, I'm giving the edge to the Broncos because they're at home. I think that this, again, is less than a major score. I think that a team Arizona has been underestimated. I mean, by saying underestimated, we're looking at last year. They were 10-16 that didn't make the playoffs, and they've continued to win through this season. So they've still undefeated. A couple of big wins in among those. They were always touted as the team that was beating weak streams, but they've won big games and they've beaten big teams. And I think they keep it close against Denver. But I just think in the end, Peyton Manning is just going to be too much for them.
Okay, I'll agree with you on Denver. I'm going to disagree that it's close. I think Denver's going to win the game by double digits.
Can we get a clock shot here behind us? Just a reminder. We're not going to see any Miami kind of bling or swag today because Miami's on the bye, but they did sign another running back. They think Moreno's going to be none for another 4 weeks. They picked up that fellow, Michael, what is his name, from San Francisco. They just signed him today.
Is that right?
Yeah, let's put him in the backfield with
He's injury trouble, though, isn't he?
Well, I don't know if he'll have a home after week 6 when Moreno comes back, or week 7, whenever it is. He's due back in a couple of weeks. But anyway, now I guess we can look at the Miami swag behind us. We can just even up. Anyway, back to what we were saying. Now we got the Jets going into San Diego to play the Bolts, and San Diego's defense has been incredible.
San Diego's offense has been incredible.
So
San Diego's special teams has been incredible. One of the best teams in the game so far this year, no doubt about it.
okay. I'm not going to get too excited yet because I know how this goes sometimes with this team. But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say the Jets are going to go in. They're going lambs to the slaughter. I'm going to say, this is another stick out there now this week because I got to try to get my swagger back here and get back into this game. I'm going to say that San Diego scores at least 14 points off of turnovers this week.
I like it. San Diego is a ball hawking defense. They have created 6 fumbles this year, 6 forced fumbles. And here's another statistic for you. San Diego's only turned the ball over once this year. And Phillip Rivers has a 70% completion percentage. And he's thrown 9 touchdowns, only 1 pick. They have not lost a fumble yet this year. San Diego special teams has been fantastic as well. All around, San Diego has been great. So look for a big game here for sure. The 14 points off turnovers, I like that call.
Okay. Next we got Kansas City going into San Fran to play the 49ers. This is going to be another good defensive battle. Kansas City has put a couple of nice wins on the board. They just humiliated the New England Patriots this week.
And the week before, they humiliated Miami.
Yeah. They really humiliated the New England Patriots. I just want to, I'd like to say that, like, humiliated.
Yeah, like.
As a matter of fact, there's only been 2 other times in the Brady era that in the last 15 years that the Patriots have lost by 27 or more.
Yeah, Tom Brady was not very happy. He was almost crying on the sidelines. Broke my heart, really. I was in tears.
I know.
Yeah.
Actually, it was, I kind of smiled awkwardly and laughed when he was pulled for Jimmy Garoppolo. I thought that was pretty neat. But you know what? Somebody, and I can't remember who it was, I was just reading about it, somebody was actually saying when they were playing against Brady, he looks like he's scared. I mean, that offensive line is scary for any quarterback.
Yeah, I read that too. And
I'm trying to remember who it was.
Yeah, it was one of their former defensive players.
Yeah, and just... They've left Brady to the dogs. I mean, they've spent money defensively, but that offensive line is just terrible. They're in a disarray with those, with all of those receivers.
Okay, well, we got to get back on subject here. Though Kansas City, we were talking about.
Yeah, we were.
We'll bash New England some more in a minute.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they've beaten the Dolphins. They've beaten the New England Patriots. San Francisco came up with a big win this week against the Philadelphia Eagles.
They did.
That was, but it was a close game.
The defensive performance was great.
It was, and it is the battle of defenses here. I think that this is going to be one score. I'm leaning to San Fran because they're at home, but I would not be surprised to lose this pick and see Kansas City beat them.
Now, I'm going to be the one out on a limb here because I'm going to say San Francisco is going to win this game big. Because I think that Jamal Charles had great, and Niall Davis, that's a 2-headed monster there in Kansas City that's allowing them to get these last 2 big wins. San Francisco has allowed 279 yards on the ground this year. It's about 70 yards per game. Great run defense. If they can stuff the run and make Alex Smith throw the ball, then Alex Smith has been sacked 13 times this year. The offensive line is not playing great for him. And, of course, you got Justin Smith having a big game for San Francisco. Once they get into the secondary, you got Antoine Bethea at safety, who was the defensive player of the week in the NFL this week. He created 2 turnovers last week. So, big defense out of San Francisco. I look for Justin Smith to have a big game and San Francisco to win this game big.
Don't like it at all, but I'm going to say 2 words to you. Travis Kelce.
Kelce, tight end, doing well.
Okay.
Like
Cincinnati.
that, don't you, Graham?
I picked him up in a couple of pools. He helped me out.
Yeah, I traded for him. I traded him to Graham for Delaney Walker.
All right. Next, we got Cincinnati going into New England to play the disillusioned New England Patriots. I'm sorry, though, but I've been saying for an awful long time that team's not all that a bag of chips, and they're not. And I think there could be a new sheriff in town in the AFC East this year. I know you're not ready to say that yet, but there's a lot of games that we're gonna see. This is going to be a defining game for the New England Patriots. I think that Cincinnati is going to go into New England and they're going to beat the Patriots. And I think that I think they're going to frustrate Tom Brady the same way that Kansas City frustrated Tom Brady defensively. And I think Dalton gets the job done.
And you want to talk about a team and some statistics? I got a few statistics for you. They're all stuck up here. Cincinnati, #1 in the NFL in pass protection. Andy Dalton has not been sacked once this year. Has not been sacked once. Cincinnati, only 1 turnover this year. They're just a fantastic team, and they're offensively one of the best in the game. Defensively, they've allowed about 11 points per game so far. Just fantastic on defense, fantastic on offense. Right now, I think Cincinnati has been the most impressive team in the NFL to this point in my books.
And that can only. Looks like they're going to be a lock now for the North, but then again, things can happen so quickly in that division.
All depends, they got to stay healthy and everything else. But New England, I think we got a little bit of a problem here. I think maybe Bill Belichick's ego has finally gotten away here, because he's not only the coach there, but he takes care of the personnel management as well. And he went out. He traded Logan Mankins too late in the season, as Jeff has already said several times to me. But what happened here is that Mankins, maybe it wasn't such a bad move getting rid of Mankins, because he was going downhill. He was getting older, and they bring in the new. But later, just before the season started, they get rid of this guy, and it's thrown their offensive line in disarray. There's no cohesion there, and it's going to take a while for also, New England had an offensive line coach, an assistant coach, Sarvecchia, and he was with the Patriots for 30 years, retired this year. Now, they talked to him about the offensive line the other day, and Sarvecchia said that the offensive line will be fine, but it's going to take a long time to become cohesive, to gel together. And it's not going to happen overnight. New England has problems on both sides of the ball here.
They don't have the Deion Branches, they don't have the Wes Welkers, they don't have the Aaron Hernandez that that Brady has spent so much time and effort getting to, and they don't have that offensive line. They don't have the Logan Mankins. They don't have the people that are protecting Brady. Brady's getting sacked on a regular basis. Yeah. But it's a turning of the page. It's the changing of the guard in New England, and I think that Brady's been cut and left, and left out in the left out for dry or whatever, right? So yeah, watch Cincinnati to win that. I'm thinking that's at least 10 points, by the way. I'm getting used to that too. Final, we've got Seattle going into Washington to play the Redskins. And I just don't see this any other way. I don't care who's throwing the ball in Washington. No. Seattle's going to take them apart.
Yep.
Yeah, that's for you, Paul Loader.
Yeah. Seattle is going to take them apart, and like I say every other week, Seattle has the best defense in the game, and they're going to take Washington apart. There's no doubt about it. Washington just lost in a blowout to the Giants. Questions there with their quarterbacks. RG3, I don't know what's going on with him. Is he healthy?
Has he ever been?
No, I don't think he has.
Okay.
Kirk Cousins just came off a game in which he fumbled 2 balls and threw 4 interceptions.
Goat this week, hero last week, right? Even though they lost.
That's right.
And then fickle group.
Fickle group. Kirk Cousins is going to be in more trouble this week.
Okay. Yeah. So that's how we see it this week coming, folks. Stick around. We're going to tell you our player and our team of the week. Hi, we're back. And this week, our player and team of the week, I'm going with the New Orleans Saints and turn a corner and Drew Brees to throw for more than 400 yards. Who do you like?
I like that call. My team and player of the week going to be San Francisco 49ers. Justin Smith, defensive player. Get a couple of sacks.
Gutsy
call.
call.
Not beat the Chiefs.
That's the way we see it, folks. Come see us. You know all the deets. You'll see it in our credits. Certainly, remember, when you watch the games, be responsible. Don't drink and drive. That's it for me. So, anything from you?
Yeah, one more thing. Last week we made a comment and an F-bomb was dropped there at the last part of the game. At least one viewer was offended by this, and we wanted to sincerely apologize for that. And Paul, listen, we're sorry if we offended you in any way, and it'll never fucking happen again. Okay, buddy?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? I'm going to go and stand in my pocket for 15 seconds. So you enjoy. Don't drink and drive, and until next week, it's good night for me.
And it's good night from him. Have fun.